When I traveled from Lagos to Kogi State to visit the father I hadn't seen in over 16 years, I never expected that just a few days later, I would be running from his house in the middle of the night, barefoot, heart pounding, with tears mixing with sweat on my face. I am blessing. I turned 18 just 3 months ago. I grew up in Lagos with my mother. Life was not easy for us. My mother was a hairdresser and she struggled to send me to school. She never talked much about my father. Anytime I asked about him, she would say, "Just focus on your studies, my dear. One day, when the time is right, you will meet him." All I knew was that my father lived in Kogi State, and he stopped visiting when I was about 2 years old. I never really missed him because I didn't even know him. But my life changed when my mother suddenly fell sick. It started with a cough, then fever. Then she could not even stand from her bed. I was the one who went to the chemist, bought food, and took care of her. We didn't have money to go to the hospital. After 2 painful weeks, she died in her sleep. I cried like never before, alone, no aunt, no uncle, nobody came to the house. It was one of the neighbors who contacted my father. He came down for the burial. That was the first time I saw him. He was tall, dark, with a rough beard and strong eyes. When he saw me, he just looked at me for a few seconds and said, "So, your blessing. You look like your mother." He didn't cry. He didn't even seem sad. After the burial, he said, "You will come to stay with me in Kogi for a while, at least until you get into university." I didn't argue. I had nowhere else to go. I packed my small bag and followed him. His house was small but neat, a 1-bedroom flat. He had a small TV, a radio, and plenty of books. He told me he was a retired teacher. The first week was quiet. He cooked sometimes. I cleaned the house. I used his phone to register for UTME. I was planning to write my exam from Kogi. Then, things began to change. One night, he came home drunk. His eyes were red and he smelled like ogogoro. I was already in the parlor trying to sleep on the couch. He looked at me strangely and said, "Why are you sleeping here? Come to the room." I told him I was fine on the couch. The next night, it happened again. This time, he sat close to me on the couch and started asking strange questions. "You have boyfriend? You don't miss touch?" I was confused, uncomfortable. I told him I was tired and went to lie down. Then came the night I will never forget. It was around 11 p.m. I was sleeping. I heard the door open slowly. Then I felt a hand on my leg. My eyes opened slowly, and I saw him, my own father, standing over me, his hand moving up my leg. I screamed. He quickly covered my mouth and said, "Shh. Shh, I'm only checking if you're okay." But he explored more, trying to remove my clothes. I bit his hand and kicked him at his weak point. I pushed him hard. I ran out of the room, out of the house. It was dark, no streetlight, just crickets and frogs. But I kept running. I didn't stop. A neighbor saw me crying on the road. She took me in, gave me water. I told her everything. The next morning, she called her pastor. The pastor called the police. They arrested my father. Till today, I can't believe a man like that gave birth to me. I stayed with the pastor's family until I wrote my UTME. I passed. I am now preparing to enter university. I tell this story not because I want pity, but because there are many girls like me who go to stay with relatives and end up in danger. If you are reading this and you are in a similar situation, speak up. Run if you must. Your safety comes first. And if you are a parent, protect your child, even from family. I thank God that I escaped before something worse happened, and I survived. Please, subscribe, share, and like for educating videos.